Moving to Greece can feel like a dream, but it does come with some challenges. We've been living here for 8 months now, and we think this is the biggest problem Greece has for expats today.
Actually, there are two big problems. The first one, which is pretty obvious, is the financial struggle.
When you move here, you really need to think about money because you will have to pay rent, you'll have to pay food, basically everything.
The money situation is one of the most important things to think about before deciding to move anywhere really, but most importantly here in Greece, because if you come here and you expect to build your career here or to start a new business, or you don't have a plan put into place and you think that you will figure it out here, it might be very challenging, and there are a lot of things that maybe you don't expect. I think the most important thing is to have some stability before you come here, to have your financial situation secured before you even think about moving.
There are people that work online, or they have savings, or they have a business somewhere, or they have a good job here that expects them. And for those, things will be much easier. But if you don't have those things arranged or planned, you'll have to think about money, like to make money, like getting a job, starting a new business, or
to find a source of income.
Yeah, and that can be a problem because to find a job in Greece might be challenging.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. It's not something that you cannot do. If you wish to come here to find a job, you will probably find a job, but it might not be what you're looking for. You might not be paid as you expected to. So it depends where you come from. This might be a cultural shock, or Greece's economy and financial situation is not strange for anyone really. And this is something you have to take into consideration for sure.
Yeah, the salaries are not as in Western Europe or in the big countries. The inflation is kind of high here. The cost of living is high compared to how much you can earn here. This can be a problem. Also, if you come here and want to start a new business, this can be very challenging because the bureaucracy and all the things that go inside the business. Or if you come here and you want to start a business, it can be very challenging. It's very different from UK, US or other countries. The bureaucracy, it's very complicated, it's very hard to navigate through the system. People can be different from what you know from your country.
Yeah, I would like to point out that the mentality here is completely different than everything we experienced. And this can make it very hard if you want to have a new business maybe and you want to find people to work with or to collaborate. I find that it's a bit difficult to find like-minded people and people that are open to new things, open to new ideas.
Yeah, here in Greece
it can be challenging.
It's more like a traditional kind of thinking, and way of doing things is more like a traditional way.
Yeah, people kind of like to do things with their relatives, with the people they know, with their family members, with their friends. If they are looking to hire someone, again, it will be through somebody they know. I think that the word of mouth here is the most used marketing strategy. This is how people find things, find different services, and this is how they advert as well in the majority of situations, especially if it's a small business. You are looking at your neighbors, at your friends, and at your people that you know. Being a foreigner here and trying to start something, to do something, it can put you in a very difficult position because you don't have your friends here, you don't have your family, so you don't have much support. You rely purely on the locals and the people that are here. And they might not be so open to support your business, or just in general, they might not be so open to, your ideas. So I think that it's really important, if you have these things sorted out, it will make your life way easier when you're here, and you can focus more on the good things.
So if you solve this before coming here, this is the ideal situation for you and for the long term. But the biggest problem for expats here in Greece, even bigger than the financial one, is the language barrier. It's true that here in Greece a lot of people speak English, but most of them speak basics. So if you want to get more in a depth conversation, or if you want to get personal and know some people or speak more on a technical level, this will be almost impossible.
Yeah, if you don't speak Greek, or if you're not even willing to learn, or I don't know, if you're not able to learn, this will complicate things a lot.
For whatever you will do here, if you will need to make some documents, you will need to read in Greek and you will need to write in Greek, which will be very tough if you don't know the language. If you want to go to the bank and open a bank account and you don't know the language, you will need some help, somebody to translate.
You always rely on other people to help you, to come with you, to explain things to you. If you don't speak the language, you cannot be on your own, you can't do things yourself. It's gonna be extremely difficult. For example, even when we went to the accountant, although the accountant speaks English,
it's a basic English.
It's not the best, and especially dealing with financial things, you need to really understand what they are telling you and they need to really understand what you're saying. So I've been facing some challenges there. So I didn't completely understand what he was telling me and he didn't understand what I was trying to explain him. Also the difference between the terms in different countries.
Whatever contract you want to make, you will need somebody to translate for you and to explain everything to you.
Yeah.
If you don't know the language, if you need to call somewhere at a courier, whatever you would like to call, they will know the basic English, the limited one, or they won't know English at all. And this will
I would
make...
say that the majority of the people do speak English and they have an English option whenever somebody is calling you to deliver a parcel or something. The majority of them speak English, but occasionally you will find someone that doesn't and they usually just hang up or just, maybe you don't sort out your parcel that day and you will have to go pick it up and find a new way because sometimes you are just limited.
Yeah, or if you move in a more remote area, in a village, somewhere that is not as touristic as a big city, then you will find a few people that can understand you in English, and this will be tough. This will be tough. But the main thing is you will not be able on long term to connect deeply with people.
Yeah, I think this is the hardest thing because on a regular daily basis, you can manage to navigate your life, but...
you can use Google Translate.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine, even in this small situation, going to a shop, asking for a thing, where is this product or whatever, you can sort it out.
Yeah, now with all the technology, you can do it. On a long term, it will become tiring and you will get sick of it, but you can do it. But when it comes to people...
Yeah, this is the challenge that we've been facing as well. I mean, you can make friends, we did make friends, but whenever you want to discuss something more in-depth, whenever, you're trying to connect with that person and you're trying to talk about different things, this is a challenge,
It's not like you do it in your native language, because in native language you can speak your mind so easily, your personality is different, you can connect differently. In a foreign language,
it's a bit more difficult, and maybe English is not even your first language. Like for us, English is not our first language. For us, it's hard enough to try to make this in English, make this video in English, to talk to people in English. Sometimes we feel that we can't express ourselves fully, and we can speak English, but there are people that, using just the basic English, it's very, very difficult to have a long-term friendship or, to connect on a deeper level with them. We felt this in a few situations because when you are in a social environment and there's many people there and the majority of them speak Greek, the language that will be there will be Greek, not English. So even if they are kind and nice and they want to talk to you and somebody will speak to you, somebody will translate a few things, you will still not be part of anything really.
Yeah, and you will make friends definitely, but won't be like those friends that you can talk everything and they will relate to, understand you, give you advice.
It's not impossible again.
No, it's not.
But it will be a challenge.
Again, if you go in a group, this will be a huge challenge because not everyone will speak English and somebody will need to translate what you say and somebody will need to translate what others said in Greek to you.
And another thing to think about, I think, is to really understand that this language is not an easy one and to allow yourself enough time to do it and to understand that for a while you will be in this position until you can actually speak the language. Just overall, when you plan your move, when you think about it, just allow enough time and maybe start preparing before even moving.
Yeah, start preparing before even moving. Listen to to YouTube, listen to radio, maybe try to do Duolingo or whatever app you have.
There are a lot of ways to learn a language.
Yeah, keep in mind this is the most important thing here. Even if you know the language, because there are people that learn it prior to moving here to Greece, and they will not have that many struggles. They will navigate more easily every aspect.
Also, I think it's important to mention regarding this language topic is the location where you move is really important, because closer to the big cities, closer to the more populated areas, there are higher chances that people will speak English. But if you are considering moving on an island, on a remote location, you have to think about that the people that live there, they probably don't speak a lot of English or just the basics.
Yeah, and actually you can solve the other problem much more easy if you know Greek. Because obviously if you can read, speak and write Greek, it's easy for you to open a business. It's easy for you to get a job.
I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's much easier than if you don't. If you don't speak the language, it's impossible.
It's easier for you to open a business. It's easier for you to get a job. Yeah, you can understand people. You can communicate easily with people. So this will give you more chances to solve the financial problem.
Our advice, learn the language, sort out your financial situation before moving to Greece if you want to live a happy life in Greece.
Yeah, it's hard, it's difficult, but it's not impossible. If you give yourself enough time, if you put a lot of energy in it, you're motivated by some things, you can do it. You can learn Greek.
Yeah, it's not impossible, and living here, it really is a dream. So I hope this advice is useful for you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and see you next time.